Let's welcome in the management at Bajaj Consumer now. Mr. Jaideep Nandi is Managing Director at Bajaj Consumer Care is now with us. Sir, could you talk to us about the demand scenario, especially after the second wave has cooled down, and how would you see the recovery shaping up, if any?
Okay, so April, the second wave, which started in end of April, I think April and May was very badly impacted. But June saw a splendid recovery, and we actually recorded our highest ever monthly sales in June. Fortunately, July and August seems to have started well, so Q2 demand situation seems robust. So unless a third wave actually comes in and hits us, demand seems to be pretty stable at this stage. But I would think it is too early to call. Maybe we would wait for a quarter or two to say completely that we are back to the pre-COVID levels.
The second wave has been impacted by rural areas, such as not unlike the first wave. How is the rural demand? What is the demand trend?
Well, that's an interesting point. As you rightly said, rural this second wave got impacted, like unlike last year, where only the urban markets had got impacted. So rural also got impacted in April and May. But since June, July, and whatever little of August we have seen, rural actually has rebounded better than urban. So rural market is back to good, strong growth levels. Urban markets have recovered. We see recovery in the retail business. Wholesale markets, some of the mandis are still closed, so wholesale is still to recover. So I think urban is slowly creeping back, but rural has rebounded splendidly.
Good afternoon, Mr. Nandi. This is Sheryl joining in the conversation, and it's pretty heartening to know that rural is actually seeing a recovery. But could you actually tell us more about the contribution? How much contribution comes in from a rural area and how much from urban for your company?
Okay, so this year actually the situation is reversed a bit since last year actually. So rural is now about 53% of our contribution, and urban is about 47%. So since always we have had urban contribution to be higher, in the last 2 years it has changed in favor of rural.
So, Mr. Nandi, given that the rural contribution now is much higher than the urban, are you seeing a trend where more demand for smaller SKUs?
Okay, so last year, if you see, the 20 rupee pack was the fastest growing pack. This year, while what you're saying is partially correct, we see the 50 to 100 rupee, that price range is the fastest growing pack range, followed by the 20 rupee as well as the 10. So yes, to an extent, that smaller SKUs are doing better. But what interestingly we see is the value-seeking consumer, the trend is coming towards the lower value products as such. So Amla hair oil, for example, which is the economy range product in that sense, is the fastest growing amongst the hair oil. It's clearly outpacing the overall. So smaller packs and economy range of products are the two which are growing.
Let's talk some more about your earnings, Mr. Nandi. If you look at your gross margins, they're actually at the lowest level in about 7 years. So do you think your margins have actually bottomed out and we could start seeing recovery from Q2 onwards, as well as what is your margin outlook for the entire year, that is FY22?
Okay, so if you look at for the hair oils, the two major components are light liquid paraffin and refined mustard oil. So light liquid paraffin, we were seeing good trends in August. The crude has been going down, so we were expecting a positive result. But on the other side, you see a depreciation of the Indian rupee. So that is a little bit blunting the impact. But yes, still LLP prices have been a little better than what we have seen in the past. RMO, unfortunately, on the other hand, is at an all-time high. So all the edible oil demand is the supply is in constraint. So that is putting a pressure on the refined mustard oil. So overall, if you look at, yes, we expect the trends to become a little better. We think the prices are now, the margins have bottomed out more or less, as you said, but immediate recovery will take a bit of a time. Quarter two, we'll see some improvement, but quarter three, quarter four, we expect margins to become better.
So will your company actually undertake more price hikes going ahead, and also to what extent can you take price hike actually without hurting the demand? That's pretty crucial.
Okay, that's again a very interesting question, because we have taken two price increases, one in January to February. Between that period, we took some staggered price increases. We took another 2.5% price increase in the last quarter in the month of May. So ideally speaking, we would not like to go ahead with any further price increases, looking at how the consumer sentiments and demand is working. But I think it will be a function of what the raw material prices are. If they further go northward, we might be forced, our hands might be forced there. And second thing is we'll also be monitoring, obviously, the competitive scenario, situation in the market, how it operates. Based on that, we might decide. But at this stage, too early.
So what is the current market share that you have? How much have you gained in the past few quarters?
So if you look at a moving average market share, we have gained 100 basis point market share, and now our market share is at an all-time high of 10.7% as far as the total hair oils are concerned. And that gain is reflected both in urban market share gains as well as rural market share gains. These are as of June of this year.
Foray into coconut oil space with launch of Bajaj Pure Coconut Oil. What is the rationale behind getting into hair oil category, and what would be the strategy to compete with key players like Dabur, Marico in this market?
See, being an established and a branded, well-known brand in the hair oils market, our aspiration is to be a complete player in the hair oils category. So, I mean, all the relevant hair oils category we want to be present. In that attempt, we actually relaunched our Amla hair oil last year. We restaged it to Amla aloe vera hair oil. That product has been doing well. And the coconut range is just to ensure that the entire range will play in. So there'll be some more launches which we'll be looking at. But these are the two major launches in the two major categories that exist.
Mr. Nandi, if you could tell us some more about your product pipeline, or what does it look like going ahead?
Well, we have an interesting pipeline coming up in the next few quarters. So quite a bit of innovation has happened at our end. And I think you will see the first range of launches which will happen in the e-commerce range. We have been dialing up e-commerce for quite some time. So as a natural process, the e-commerce range of digital first products will be up this quarter itself. There'll be further more products coming in the traditional channel, which we have been looking at. So that will be more at the end of the year and forward. So these are the two ranges we are looking at quite closely.
Right. And what is your strategy for e-commerce channel sales, Mr. Nandi? What is the contribution to the revenue that you're actually seeing currently from e-commerce sales?
So as I said, e-commerce has been one of our key focus areas for I would guess, like all companies. So at this stage, we are still lagging behind. I would think of the larger players. We still about 3.5% to 4% of our turnover comes out of e-commerce, which was about 0.5% about 1.5 years back. So we have come some distance, but I think there is a long way to go. This is a pretty democratic channel, so we feel that we have some space to grow here as well. And based on that is the rationale of launching a digital first brand itself, which you will see by the end of this quarter.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for taking our time for us. Always good to get perspective from you. That is the management at Bajaj Consumer Care, talking about the numbers, the way ahead.